G'day everyone, Average Alexis here, hoping you're having a good one. And today I figured I would do a quick little video on some tips for a trip to Australia, if anybody ever plans on coming to Australia. Mostly Markiplier for when you come here on tour. So first tip I can give you is be prepared. Be prepared for the absolutely mental changes in weather. You're coming in November, so it's kind of spring, but it's also kind of summer at the same time. It's just super hot. I can guarantee it'll probably get up to about 35 degrees if you're lucky. It'll probably go higher, but I'm being optimistic here. 35 degrees Celsius, that is. So be prepared for really, really hot weather or really, really rainy, muggy weather. Basically, you've just got to be prepared for anything to happen because the weather in Australia can change like that. Like this morning, it was bright shining outside and I walked outside maybe at lunchtime and it was overcast and it had started spitting. Like there was no forecast for rain or anything like that. It just appeared out of nowhere. The weather in Australia does whatever the fuck it wants, much like the people in Australia. So yeah, number one, be prepared for sudden weather changes. Number two is make sure you pack accordingly. I'm speaking clothing wise. I know a lot of people like their jeans and that sort of thing, but you're really not going to be able to wear jeans over here. And investing in a decent pair of sneakers is probably a good idea too, because I'm not exaggerating when I say it's hot. If you wear thongs, the tops of your feet are going to get burnt and it is not a nice feeling at all. But yeah, so be prepared with clothing and all that sort of thing. Number three, beware of nature. I know as much as people joke about all the dangerous animals in Australia, there are a shit ton of them. I remember very vividly one of the first times I took my dog for a walk, literally down the road, because there's a river down the road from me, there was a big ass fucking carpet python in the middle of the walkway, and I've gone, okay, I'm turning around and going now because I'm deathly scared of snakes and toads and ugh. I'm scared of snakes, toads and cockroaches. The things Australia has in abundance. Why do I live in this country? But yeah, so be very prepared with the wildlife. I'm going to extend that to mosquitoes because again, when you're coming, it's either going to be super, super hot. This is for Markiplier. When you're coming, it's going to be either super, super hot or rainy and overcast and muggy and shit. Mozzies are mosquitoes. Sorry, I forget. You guys don't always understand our slang. Mozzies are a big issue right around that time of the year. So weather, clothing, wildlife, what else can I say? Oh, try as many Australian cuisines as you can, because we have a fair few things here that you can't really get anywhere else in the world. I will not blame you if you don't want to try Vegemite. I don't like Vegemite myself. It is disgusting, I think. And the fact that there are several knockoffs of it, like cheesy Vegemite, gross. Our fruit and all that sort of thing, fruit and veggie is really, really nice here because majority of it comes from Australia, especially bananas. Oh, if you can get bananas because they're from, especially if they're Australian bananas, please give them a try. This is weird for me. I haven't really thought about the different things somebody would need to prep for a trip to Australia because I live here. So it's a little weird for me to be talking about something like this, but I figured I'd do this video. I don't know. But yeah, enjoy it. I hope you do anyway. If you can, definitely get down to a beach at some point. The Australian beaches are some of the most beautiful beaches you'll see in the world. I've been to beaches in Brisbane, in Townsville where I live, at Magnetic Island, or Sydney. I've been to the beach a lot of places along the Queensland coast. But yeah, if you can get to a beach in Australia, most of them are absolutely stunning, especially I think one of the major cities you're going to is home to Bondi Beach. I've heard Bondi Beach is fantastic. I've not been there myself, but it's definitely one of those things where it is absolutely worth a look. Be sure that anywhere that you go has air conditioning readily available. If it says on a sign out the front that the air conditioner is not working, do not go in there, because again, this all comes back to basically the heat living in Australia. It is so fucking hot. Like, we're in the middle of autumn right now, or fall, whatever you want to call it, and it's literally like 33 degrees Celsius outside. It's disgusting. Like, there's nothing, I mean, I suppose in the end, nothing can really prepare you for a trip to Australia. You can be as prepared as you want, but there are things that will happen that just expect the unexpected, because Australia is a country of friggin' craziness, okay? Don't go out into the bush at nighttime. Yes, snakes will more often than not just be sitting in the middle of a walkway. In people's toilets, there are frogs everywhere, there are toads everywhere, there are cockroaches, there's spiders. But underneath all of that, like, you go to the major cities and these places are stunning. Melbourne has some of the most beautiful has some of the most beautiful architecture in the world. Sydney is fantastic. I mean, you've got the Sydney Harbour Bridge and the Sydney Opera House. Brisbane is stunning. I'm only naming the places that I've been. Hobart is beautiful. Like, all these, there's so many things that you can do in Australia, and I definitely recommend, if you're ever going to take a trip here, that you make it at least a month long. Don't try and cram everything into a week or anything like that, because it's just not gonna work. I understand that Markiplier is coming here on tour, so he possibly won't have a chance to see any of these great places, but definitely when you come to Australia, just take it all in, because I can guarantee you've never seen anything like it before, good or bad. But yeah, I can't really say much more than that. This was just like a quick little vlog with some personal tips for Australia. Definitely the biggest one for me, someone like me who's super pale, is sunscreen, because funny story, the last ever athletics carnival I did for school, it was really super overcast, and I had been putting sunscreen on all day, because the teachers walk around with buckets in their, like, bottles, giant bottles of the stuff in their hands, because that's how bad it gets here. And I must have missed a strip just up here. I must have kept, like, I must not have pushed the sunscreen back to my hairline or something. I still got really severely burnt everywhere around here, but the worst thing, and my mother, I don't think she's ever forgiven me for it. Like, you should have seen her when I went to Whitewater World when I was staying at their place down in Brisbane. She made sure I lathered that shit on, because I came home and I woke up the next morning after this athletics carnival, and yes, I was burnt, but this was the normal, I walk out in the sun, I get sunburnt kind of thing. But up here, the strip that I must have missed, I got a 3rd degree burn on my head from the sun. Like, so I'm talking 3rd degree as in it was split open and it was bleeding, because it was that bad. So you definitely need to be prepared with sunscreen. There's nothing else that I could stress more about a trip to Australia. But other than that, that's a wrap for this video. Like and subscribe if you want to. Believe in yourself and be you, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye, guys.